Hello. Yes, that mic works. I'm in between all of you and lunch, so I'll try to keep it relatively short. My name is Ruben. I'm co-founder and CEO at Gorilla, and I feel a bit like an odd one out today for a couple of reasons. One, I'm here to talk about energy retail. Two, I'm from Europe. And three, I don't have a lifelong career in energy like most of you. I actually have a technical background, studied computer science, then business economics, and I went back to computer science to do a PhD. It was a very weird, obscure topic called cloud computing back in the day, which was really interesting to follow, like the rise of AWS and the transformation of our technology landscape 15 years ago, similar to what we're experiencing right now from an AI point of view. A couple of years ago, we started Gorilla with the aim to do something about this. We saw by getting an RFP in from a large UK-based energy retailer, a large C&I player, that they were really struggling with margin erosion, partially due to data silos, meaning sales was looking at a different forecast than the billing team was, than the pricing team was, than the actual trading and forecasting teams were, which then resulted in really slow decision making. They saw a very volatile market, and hey, let's be honest, the market hasn't become less volatile in the last 7 years, which was hindering their growth due to a lack of agility. And I think if I've been hearing what everyone has been talking about today, hey, the future is very uncertain, so the only thing we can do as an industry is make sure we are agile. We are able to react to change faster, because the pace of change is not going to go down, it's only going to go up. So that's what we set out to do. We set out to do that as a company who basically had no clue what they started doing because they had no background in energy. We had a background in data science, data engineering. We got an RFP from that large UK-based energy retailer, and they were actually trying to do an end-to-end system replacement. So new CRM, billing, trading, it all needed to be replaced and it all needed to be ready for the future of energy. And for them, that meant two things. One, they wanted to bring new products to the markets in hours. They wanted to be able to react to whatever competitors were doing or whatever they thought a customer needed. They were C&I business most of all, which meant that they wanted to be able to build a new product for just one customer without having to file off change requests to the IT department and wait for months. They wanted to do it themselves from a pricing and propositions point of view, which then meant it had to be able to be built, forecasted, traded, fulfilled, and reported on in the end-to-end life cycle. And the second thing they wanted was much higher accuracy. They wanted to use every meter point, every data point they had to be able to get more accurate because margins were super thin in the C&I space and probably still are. And so combining those two, we actually saw a data processing problem in there. And that data processing problem was one that we set out to solve. We looked at the current landscape of technology, so CRM players and billing players and trading software, and we saw that actually a lot of these systems were not made for data processing. They're transactional systems, they're built by veterans of this energy industry for years and years and years. But what happens when you throw a lot of data at legacy software? Well, one of our customers described it like this: we are driving a 20-year-old Ford Fiesta, and the company wants us to drive the highway at 200 miles an hour. It's an analogy that resonated because it's actually what's happening. Most of the energy companies today run on software that's 10, 15, 20 years old. And if you're seeing the innovations only in the last 2 years, you can't just patch that. You need to think differently about energy software today. And that means that you need to start from the point of data processing, not from the transactional point. And so that's what we set out to build 7 years ago. We set out to build a platform of energy data applications for pricing, forecasting, and portfolio analysis that really help get energy retailers up to speed really, really fast. So we can go live with these applications in months instead of years. They're pre-configured, they're really ready to use, but given we're at the heart of the energy retailer, of the energy management function, we also are very flexible in configuring. So anyone in that organization can go into our software and reconfigure the way they buy and sell energy. And we do it from a data processing point of view. So we integrate with CRM and billing and trading systems. They're good at what they do. That's the process side of things. We just do data processing and nothing else. So we do this today. We do this for about 20, more or less, energy retailers now around the world, from companies like Shell Energy, Engie, British Gas, Scottish Power in the UK, over EDF, CFE in Europe, to companies in Australia, and energy retailers here in the US. That's what we do today, but what is next? In order to decide or understand what is next, you need to understand the real state of energy management today. And that is this. You all know this guy. One guy in your basement building Excel spreadsheets with very complex macros, and without this guy and his energy and his Excel spreadsheets, your company stops working. AI decided that you have transparent screens now and you can see Excel spreadsheets from both sides of the laptop, so I decided to keep it on. But this is the current state of energy management in almost every company we've encountered today. And so while it's amazing to talk about AI and the future state and where we need to get to, we need to start here, in this basement. And we need to think about the 4 steps that break down the data silos in an energy retailer like this, of which the first step is bespoke pricing. We already do this, and the world already does this for a long time on the C&I front. We're seeing more and more customers going towards bespoke personalized pricing, which means you take the actual historic consumption data of a customer, you forecast it 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years out, and you calculate a price just for them in the right set of products so that you balance the risk between yourself and them, and you really tailor the price to what they need, because the price is the only thing that really will drive change in consumer behavior. We're all selling commodity to our customers, and price is the only thing that will drive change. Once you've sold them something, you will need meter-level forecasting and trading. You need to really look at the bottom-up view of what your customers are actually doing versus what you forecasted. And you need to tailor that instantly. You need those forecasting models to be trained on the individual data of every customer. Again, from a C&I point of view, up to the residential customers. Number 3 is then the portfolio insights, or the portfolio analysis, as we call it. And I was blown away the first time I learned that no one is doing this yet in this industry, but it's a full bottom-up view to try and understand the full profitability of one single customer, in C&I up to residential. Looking at the actual things you've sold them, which parts are fixed, which parts are pass-through, versus the actual consumption and what you forecasted, and calculating for each of the underlying cost components, whether you're making or losing your money on your customers, giving you a profit and loss statement per customer, and then rolling that up into customer segments, into location-based regions, into your products that you've launched, into your risk areas. We have one customer in the UK who, after looking at their data, they first found more than 10 million pounds of misallocated costs, but that was still in test phase. Once they've launched this, they basically decided to change their entire business strategy. They withdrew from more than 2 segments in the C&I space, and they changed their risk parameters in their pricing entirely, which then led to an updated proposition and risk profile for that customer. Their revenue went down with 20%, but their EBITDA went up times 4. All because they all of a sudden really understood the impact of their risk strategies and their acquisition strategies on their existing portfolio. And this is great, but there's one next step. And when we're talking about AI, we're talking about augmenting the productivity of a lot of people in our industry. This is all math, advanced math. And so think the generative AI language models on one side. This mathematics is what we believe should eventually be replaced by AI. I think machine learning models can run an energy retailer just as good or maybe even better than what is happening today. That's what the future in Gorilla's eyes looks like. And so that's what we are working on hard to try and achieve. It's time for lunch. Thank you.